It used to be for Magic the Gathering players that finding a good deal was something hard to do and you really appreciated it when you found that good deal. But now with the abundance of Magic products available, well, a good deal? They're everywhere. In today's world, it's not a question of can I find a good deal, it's which good deal is best for you. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today as we go through some amazing deals and which deals are right for you, because they don't actually suit everyone's needs. With what's been going on in the Magic world today, it is no surprise that players have a hard time picking which things they should be going after. But what I think the players need to do is calm down. Just bring it down to a slow simmer and say, what am I trying to accomplish? Because back in the day, I'll be honest, when you saw a good deal, you just grabbed it. We've done numerous videos here on the channel about Christmas deals with those like collector box openings. You had booster boxes on sale for $79. You buy cases of it. Nowadays, that's kind of commonplace and there's deals everywhere. Maybe not to that price level, but judging by the inflation we've gone through and the oversaturation of Magic products right now, there is a deal for everyone. And the selection is major. And of course, yes, it depends on your geographical location in the world. And you can always look to see if you can get it shipped to you anyway from a different country, because sometimes you might know someone in that country who will pick it up for you and ship it overseas. It's a fascinating time to be alive in Magic. With what's been going on, I think it's almost surreal to be able to pick all these different things depending on my needs of the day. Am I reserveless card hunter? Am I going after some cheap reserveless cards I've always wanted? Or just taking a discount deal on some of the bigger cards? Maybe I want some sealed product to hold to my collection and use at a future date, or maybe flip and make some cash. Commander players, buying sealed commander decks or picking up discounted cards are always an appealing option. There really is something for everyone. And that's why I think is really weird, because it's not like the LGS wants to give you a deal. They've got to keep the cash flowing and they're just churning away as quick as they can. And as long as they keep buying from Wizards, these deals are going to stick around. Because if the LGSs and the distributors all held back, who knows what would happen with Amazon. I can't speak to that. But you would see less product available, prices would probably stabilize, and the deals wouldn't be as extreme. But I guess they're probably getting some good deals from those distributors themselves, and they figure, I can buy at this price, I can discount it here, and they're still going to make just a little bit of money, break even, or maybe just lose a little bit. But there is just options. And I personally am not used to having this many options available or this many options to talk about like we're going to go through in today's video. So let me start you out here with number one. Here's a collector booster display. This is Dominaria United collector box. Right now in Canada, if I looked around, you can find this for $219.95 Canadian. Okay? Which means with tax and stuff, you're like, what, $240, $245? And over here, in the US, I think it's on TCG Player, $154.95 US, which that's still cheaper than Canada, by the way, but with import fees and stuff and taxes, it's not worth buying, so you might as well look for the local one here. Although somebody in the States who could pop over with, some cash in hand, wow, the deals you guys can get there is crazy to us Canadians. When you look at these prices, we look at these discounts and changes of what's going on, this is significant. Because these boxes were like $319 and now they're basically $100 off. Well, what happened there? Well, the money moved on. That's exactly what's happened. The money for these products has literally just moved on. It just went somewhere else to the next product. The store has excess stuff sitting around, and as we discussed before, the store is only going to sell so many at that price, and when they've got their stock a little bit more narrowed down, they're not ordering new stuff from the distributor, then they'll start raising their prices up. They want to cover the shortfall, but they intend on keeping a few boxes for a later date down the line for the odd collector who might come into their store 10 years from now. Most stores that have any, backing behind them, cash flow, they're going to do this kind of thing, knowing that the dividends it pays out at a future date is pretty significant. Now, when we're taking a look at stuff like the Commander decks, look at Universes Beyond, Warhammer 40,000. Again, locally, I could find the Ruinous Powers Commander deck for $79.95. It was $109, so I guess it's like $30 off what originally was charged for here in Canada. The US, $49.95. Guys, this is crazy to me to see where these prices were and where they are now. Now, we're not talking about the special edition ones, but we are talking about a significant cost reduction for someone who wanted to get their hands on these decks. Now, you have to excuse me. Before we get on with the rest of the video, there's been like a whole bunch of forest fires here in Ontario, and the smoke has come down, and I didn't notice it at first, but now I was outside working, I do notice it, so please bear with me as we go through today's video because some of the stuff is getting to me. Now, when we're taking a look here at reserveless cards, this is Volross Stronghold. You can find this card on TCG Player for between $65 to $71 US, lightly played. Even though the market shows it at 81 for near mint, there's a big savings here on where this card used to be. Where we are headed with cards like this is very significant. It doesn't just have to be sealed product. It can be everything, even ancillary products like deck boxes go on sale when they're clearing out stock, and cards like this can be found. Moderately played ones can be even cheaper. And of course, guys, remember, if you're shopping on TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link. It is found in the description of every single video I do, and I appreciate everyone who takes the time to click my link, takes you to TCG Player for your shopping experience, and after you've spent some hard-earned moolah, the Moxman gets a kickback of about 3.5%, so I appreciate it, guys. Thanks again for everyone who takes time to do so. I even use the link myself. Now, getting past Volross Stronghold, there are other cards out there that have significance, but what I find interesting is every player knows what they want to buy. They know what they're looking for. But it changes from week to week, month to month. You might say, oh, I need these 2 cards for my commander deck. Or, oh, that commander deck's on sale. I had it on my checklist of things I really wanted to get. So you might buy that one week and spend $60. But then you might go and say, you know, I took this part, or I did this, or this caught my interest. A friend had this. Your interests change. And the funny thing is, there's just so many deals now that all those can be taken into account. And that's like really cool. Now, our next card I want to show you is Tithe. This is from Visions, and this one's interesting. More so than a lot of the other ones where the price was as high as like $80 US. This thing's sitting around the $21 to $24 range, lightly played to near mint, okay? And these are US prices, of course. But when we take a look at Tithe, and you look at the card, you say, okay, let's look what we're talking about. This card is a single casting cost instant. Search your library for a Plains card. If you control fewer lands than target opponent, you may search your library for an additional Plains card. Reveal those cards to all players and put them into your hand. This card was $80, and now you can have it on discount, on a savings, because nobody's paying attention. There's just so much market noise out there, so much stuff going on in people's lives, that a lot of these cards are just, nobody cares. And when nobody cares, deals can be found. That is just something I think is fascinating. Now, here's a card that I want to talk about for a second. Here's Sliver Queen from Stronghold. And of course, we know the Sliver Commander deck is coming up. It's being released with Commander Masters. Now, the average price for this card, you'll see it has spiked up in the last couple of months. That's because of the announcement. So this card, before, you could find it for around $250 Canadian. Now, $250 heavily played US. The average price is $329.50. That market price $324, and of course near mint's around $350 on TCG Player. But here's something interesting. I'm going to tell you, don't buy this card. That's why it's a card watch video. I also will suggest to you when not to buy cards, and this is a card you should not be buying. Now allow me to explain why you shouldn't be buying it, because that's kind of important, right? We all know that every time these kind of things spike, there's a whole history of decks and cards on the reserve list that get spikes because somebody catches an interest, but it wears out. It fades away. If you want to try that card, if you want that for your deck, you got to wait about 6 months, anywhere from 120 days to 6 months for the card to settle down. Just settle down. Don't just slow roll it, man. Don't spend your money for a near mint card right now when these prices are all going to calm down. I see nothing right now that is going to cause any massive spikes in the reserve list. If anything, there's just money slushing around all over the place, and it's not finding a home in any one format or type. Even Commander, guys, there's certain cards, but after you build your Commander deck, you're only increasing certain staple cards. Reserveless cards, same way. You only need one, maybe two or three. You might be building a play set, but at the same time, cards like this, there's a lot on the market right now. There's a lot. Okay, a lot got flushed back out during the 30th anniversary stuff. This card's just sitting there. Let people have their fun, spend their money buying it for their Commander Sliver decks. And then, about 6 months from now, when the price comes down, you can go ahead and decide to pick it up and save yourself a few bucks. Focus on other things you want to do. Keep your powder dry on a card like that. You do not have to buy it. Now, here's Sarah's Sanctum. $255 US for a near mint copy. It has been trending down as well. And of course, unlike a card, say like Tolarian Academy, this card can be used inside Commander. Does that mean you should just run out and buy it? No! The answer is no, you should not be buying this card right now because like others I've just showed you, like the Sliver Queen, you got to ignore it. Okay, you may want to get it right now. There's all kinds of cool enchantments and things catching your eyes. You're like a kid in a candy store. You see other good deals, and you think that's kind of a deal. It's not over yet. Sure, you can go ahead and spend the money, buy it. That's your money, your deal. But I would recommend waiting. I would recommend coming back about 6 months from now and re-looking at the card. 6 months does seem like a long time, but it's like a hiccup before you know it. You're back around again going, oh, it cleared up. Oh, look at the price now. It's dropped down to, I don't know, $200. Now, in some cases, $55 may not be a lot of money for you, but for other people it is. You've got to set the price that you think you're willing to pay. You decide what's a good deal on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and even a yearly basis. You decide this stuff. And that, to me, when I remember buying mine, for Canadian, was it 205 Canadian I paid for mine? So I was still paying a higher, I was buying it into the 2020. But I remember telling a friend to buy it when it was $100. And they were kind of humming and hawing, but they finally gave in and bought it. And look at the increase in price, but it is coming down. So let it settle. Let people flush some more onto the market and decide what they want to do. That card is not worth buying right now when there are much better deals to be had. Now, the last card I want to share with you on today's video before we carry on with, deals versus no deal. This is Hellfire from Legends. Now, you can find it on things like TCG Player for like $84, moderately played. I looked for it here locally in Toronto. I couldn't find any decent copies, okay? And you can also go, when it comes to Legends cards, you can also go for the Italian versions and save yourself a bucket load of money. But looking at this card and looking at the market average, you can see it's down a lot. This thing was almost $300 and it's way down, okay? Way down. Now, when you look at the card, remember what things like this do. They do things that new cards just don't. So fitting this in a Commander deck is easy if you're playing heavy black because it says 3 black, 2 others. So for 5, what does it do? All non-black creatures are destroyed. Hellfire does X plus 3 damage to you, where X is the number of creatures placed in the graveyard. So when you look at that card and you decide if you want it or don't want it, if you're playing a black Commander deck, or at least a heavily toned black Commander deck, the fact you're going to take damage for X creatures doesn't mean much. In a Commander game, you really don't care because your creatures are going to stick around and you're going to obliterate all their creatures that may be blocking or stopping you from doing what you want to do. I just think a card like that, when people don't see it coming up, and by the way, I have an Italian version still. I've used it inside the Throw Bowl deck, and yeah, it kind of throws people for a loop. They're like, what? What deck's that? That's a Legends card? It gives you the whole bling factor of kind of being exciting, but also the conversation topic that can come along with a card like that. And that, to me, is a fairly decent deal. That's just my opinion, as it is for most of you out there. There's just so much out there that I used to say you had to go looking for a deal, you had to know where to look, but the deals are everywhere nowadays. And it used to seem that it was so hard to find, but now they're just so commonplace that I don't think they're going away anytime soon. I think what we're going to see with players and stores is players are still cutting back and fine-tuning what they want. Stores are deciding how much they should need to keep. That goes all the way back to distribution level, and Wizards hasn't fine-tuned what they should be creating and stockpiling around. So as the market is trying to clear this up, I think we've probably got another 12 to 24 months of this kind of stuff sticking around. But even then, this stuff will sit on shelves for years. Okay, for years. So if you want a particular product or a certain card, all you got to do is write it down somewhere, remind yourself, have it pinned up on a fridge saying check this in 30 days, check that in 90 days. It's a waiting game nowadays. They want your hard-earned money. They got to do something to earn it, be it the store, the company, whatever it may be. So if that deal comes up and that's around the price point you're willing to spend, that's when you can jump on a card like that. You just have to be prepared, keep your powder dry, knowing that that card or that deal or that box could come up sooner rather than later. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I can't wait to see what you think about some of the deals out there. And do you think any of these are a good deal? Let's have that conversation. Don't be shy. Slam something down in the comment sections. And of course, everyone, thanks again for hanging out with me today and allowing me to entertain you with the video. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, turn on your notification bell, and of course, subscribe to the channel and help me get closer to 20,000 subs. I'll see you guys soon. Have an awesome day. This is where we show off the amazing patrons of the channel. Without these patrons, this kind of content is not made possible for daily upload. So thanks again for everyone who supports me each and every day and enjoys partaking in my content. Thanks again, patrons. Okay, man. I'm not even that thirsty. I just feel like there's always grit in my mouth right now. What's going on in Ontario? I didn't notice it yesterday. Whew, but I noticed it today. I am not a happy camper, guys. This is kind of crazy. So thanks a lot for coming around to the end section of the video. I'll keep this short and sweet. Some of those deals are pretty good. They really are. That's why I showed off the ones I showed. And the ones I told you to avoid because people were asking, don't buy that stuff right now. Okay, you can skip it. But everyone's fighting for your dollar. So it stands to reason you should go for the best deal you can find. And what you determine as a best deal is totally up to you. Everyone's got different, specifications on how they think a good deal goes down. For me, I gotta be honest, I'm loving shopping around right now, looking for good deals. Sometimes just window shopping can be very therapeutic. You go, I'm gonna put those in my cart. Nah, I'm gonna wait and see if there's a better deal coming up. I don't know. Sometimes it just feels good doing it. I don't know if you guys do that too, but when I don't have the money to spend, sometimes it just kind of makes me feel good to do that. It's the way it is sometimes. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here on the channel. Remember to shop smart, shop S-smart, and you know what? You don't need to hear it. I know you're going to clean the popcorn off the floor. I know you're going to sweep. And no, I still have not found it. I looked yesterday. I don't know. It may have gone behind, and I ain't searching for that, so plan B is going to have to happen. Later, guys.